All right, now to this. Israel and Lebanon clashed overnight, despite President Trump saying both sides have agreed to pause fighting. On social media, President Trump said he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and he says he spoke with Hezbollah representatives. Mr. Trump says Netanyahu agreed to not to raid Beirut. The Israeli leader confirmed the call, but said his military will continue operations in southern Lebanon. Neither leader made reference to a report in Axios that this call had been tested with some expletives. The situation is casting further doubt on U.S.-Iran talks. Yesterday, Iranian state media reported that Tehran would suspend these talks, accusing the U.S. and Israel of ceasefire violations. In an interview with CNBC, President Trump brushed off those reports, saying, quote, "I don't care if the negotiations are over." But on social media, Mr. Trump said talks are continuing at a rapid pace. So what's really going on here? CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy joins us in studio once again to at least explain how the rhetoric matches or mismatches what's happening on the ground. Courtney, good morning. President Trump says Israel and Hezbollah leaders, they've agreed to stop fighting. But does that really match the facts on the ground? What's happening?
Facts on the ground are very different. President Trump can say what he wants to see, but there are continuing attacks from both sides. Or Hezbollah has a mission. Hezbollah, once again, now wants Israel out of southern Lebanon. That's how they were founded. It was in the 1980s against Israel and U.S. interference in Lebanese politics, which is incredibly complex. And then Israel was in southern Lebanon for 18 years, saying it was a buffer zone, a security zone, protect its own citizens. Lebanese, Arab countries, the UN called it an occupation. Prime Minister Netanyahu has moved right in, taken Beaufort Castle, which we discussed yesterday, where I've been, and moved in on territory that is a sovereign country. And Hezbollah, while it's a terrorist group and a militant group, they see themselves as fighting against Israel for a cause. So while Israel is in southern Lebanon, this is going to be a problem because you have, even if it's low level, drone attacks, and then Netanyahu launched airstrikes, which are not low level. Hezbollah has trained as guerrilla warfare, and they're using explosive drones and other methods now to hit Israeli soldiers. So recently there are about 24 soldiers since this happened. And when people looked at it as an Israel-Lebanese or Israeli versus Hezbollah war, Hezbollah looks to Iran as their great leader, as their spiritual leaders, as their military leaders. And Iran is saying, no go with any talks if this doesn't calm down.
Well, this is why yesterday, as we were talking, you were saying what's old is new again. The issues between Israel and Hezbollah have been there for a long time. And it appears now that with the U.S. trying to get a deal with Iran, it's the Israel-Lebanon issue that may, in fact, gum up the works.
Right. There's a lot of things that could gum up the works. And President Trump says talks continue, but he has to make a decision on this draft memorandum. And it's the Strait of Hormuz, which we talk about. It's the enriched uranium we talk about. The unfreezing of funds, which is a lot of money that would go to Iran. And a lot of Republicans don't want to see that. They would see that as like Obama redux. Right. Old is new. But well, you know, that's where I cut my teeth. I got a teaching job. I moved to Beirut, thought I want to start in the news, and boy, did the news hit me there. And so I know this land. I know the people. I know the complexities. Nobody wants Israel inside their country. The Lebanese do not want that. And Prime Minister Netanyahu can say what he wants. And he didn't withdraw when he was prime minister in the 90s. He actually lost the election. Ehud Barak withdrew. So Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing a crucial election this October. He's moved into southern Lebanon. They have troops in Syria, IDF troops, and troops in Gaza. Is the Israeli public okay with this? Another big question that I'm looking into.
So many factors. We're going to make that education and that experience pay off for us anyway. Courtney Kealy, great to have you here. See you again soon.